Hello everybody, good morning and welcome to Live at the Waterhole, where first up we're coming to you from the African Kamfersdam just outside of Kimberley. My name is Ralph Kirsten and welcome aboard. What does the bush hold in store for us today, and most importantly, which animals are going to be coming down to drink? Well, it seems that the day hasn't quite gotten underway just yet. Here with the lesser and greater flamingos, we do generally see that the greater flamingos are a little bit more active before the lesser. But we'll have to see what happens today. As always, please don't forget that this is a live and interactive experience, so we'd love for you to jump on board with us and send us through your questions and your comments. You can do that by going on the WildEarth website and registering. Seems to be a reasonably good day. Yesterday was rather overcast across a number of the locations, but maybe today's a little bit better. You can see for now lots of the birds standing on one leg, and well, we found out yesterday and chatted about it. It's a lot to do with thermoregulation. If there's only one leg down in the water, well, they won't be getting as cold as if there were two. And another thing is all down to energy efficiency as well. So that's a question often asked, and well, that's the answer. So seeing a little bit of a breeze coming across the waterhole here, but the sun does seem to be out. And with that being said, let's go and see what the weather's going to be like across all the different locations. So it seems the two locations of Old Donyo in Kenya as well as here at Kamfersdam might be a little bit overcast today. Otherwise, everywhere else seems to be a beautiful winter's day. Nice and sunny, and it's going to get nice and warm as well. So that bodes well for us, because the hotter it is, the more the animals are going to come down and drink. So, and also chatted about it yesterday, but the breeding season of especially the lesser, but to a degree the greater as well, is between November and March. And we'll have a lot more birds, hopefully, pulling in here around September, October, in the start of that kind of breeding cycle. So we could have it up to about 50,000 flamingos here. So it's going to be wonderful to see, and I'm hoping the numbers reach up to that. So with it being Saturday as well, we say it's Cataday. Hopefully we can also see some cats today. That's what I'm hoping for. But yesterday we also had a lovely sighting with a big bull elephant at Old Donyo. There was some elephants at Tau as well as all the general game. But wonderful day yesterday, and it was a little bit overcast, so I'm thinking today is going to be even better. You can see the birds are slowly starting to get a little bit more active. Now, Pete from the UK, thanks for your comment. You're first up. Well done, and lovely to have you aboard with us. I can't wait to see what animals are going to be coming down to the different water holes. And as I say, today I'm holding fingers and thumbs for some predators. And speaking of birds as well, we did some lovely birding yesterday, and we had a gymnogene that was hogging the waterhole at Oldonyo as well. That was a lovely sighting. Went for a little bath and a little drink, and then eventually got chased off by the zebra. Dream Wild, lovely to have you on board once again. Lovely, lovely. Glad you're strapped in. And a nice little slow start here at Kamfersdam, just watching the flamingos as they wake up. But I'm sure it's not going to be long, and they'll do a little roundabout flight, then return, do some more preening and feather maintenance as they've started to do now, and then we should see them start all to feed. Righty, so the daily routine getting underway here at Kamfersdam. It's a little bit of a slow start. As we can always expect, the activity really increases once we get to about 10:30 or so. If we're lucky, maybe nice and early, we'll have some predators coming through for a drink before they go off and sleep. With that being said, I think we need to head on over into Namibia, the Tosha National Park, and Okukuyu. Where we haven't seen one of these animals here for quite some time. So I think it's quite special. Not that giraffe are uncommon at this waterhole. It's just they haven't been here for a while. Them and the elephants have been a little bit scarce. The general game has been really active, but not so much the elephants and giraffes. So I hope there's a few more of them today. And a beautiful day in this part of Namibia. It's east wind currently, or easterly weather. So as long as it's not howling, this in fact is the best time of year in Namibia. It's lovely, warm, hot winter's day, but it doesn't get too hot as long as that wind doesn't howl. And it doesn't look like it's howling today. So I'm sure it is a perler of a day there now. And just as I was saying, there's not a breath of wind. Look at that beautiful reflection on the water with this giraffe drinking now. A couple of springbok milling about in the background. They're the most common animal here. And we can expect to see some zebra, blue wildebeest, oryx, kudu, and black-faced impala. And then, of course, the giraffe and elephants too. Wow, Chris Grobler, lovely to have you on board, and nice to know that you're watching from Rwanda. That's fantastic. You'll notice that the giraffe getting quite nervous. There's a lot of bird activity, especially on that side where it's drinking now. There was that pied crow that just came into land, and you'll see lots of Namakwa sandgrouse and ringneck doves that will come in as well, and that often spooks the giraffe as they're trying to drink. Now, this is also the southern giraffe, a little bit different to the Maasai giraffes that we'll see in Kenya at the Africam Old Donyo. Those are much bigger, a little bit darker, and their spot pattern is slightly different as well. A little bit more jagged edges to the Maasai giraffe, and a little bit bigger as well, as I said. So, and the perspective that we have at Old Donyo is at ground level, so it really makes those animals there look huge. But nice to see that this giraffe getting a lovely healthy drink in. They might come down once or twice a day, and it's important for them to get a good amount of water in for their sustenance for the day.
Those sounds just go straight through you.
And remember that this is probably the most famous waterhole in Namibia at large. And so this particular backdrop is on many, many postcards and brochures, etc., and advertising Namibia as a tourist destination. Okay, so the giraffe moving off. Looks like there is a line of zebra slowly making their way down. We'll wait for them, but I think we'll let them do that while we head to the first Wild Earth dam cam, and that's at Djuma in the Sabi Sands. Where Dewey, the resident male hippo, and his newfound family are lying up in the sun. Wonderful. A couple of oxpeckers about, and it does seem a little bit windy, so you might see a bit of shake on the camera itself, but that's just down to the weather conditions. Now these hippo will probably have been out the entire night, so this is nice time for them to rest up, and there was a lovely yawn there from one individual. I'm not exactly sure for now who is Dewey. We'd have to have a look around, and I think there were up to 7 here the other day. I can only see 4 for now. Oh, another head popped up. There's another individual that I didn't see behind the animal that it's lying in front of or behind. I think this may be Dewey here, closest to us. Nice big bull. And if you've been watching any of the Wild Earth shows, the sunrise and sunset, you would have seen that Dewey likes to play with sticks. So maybe he'll get up to some of those antics. Would be nice. You don't generally see too much activity from hippos during the day. That's mainly reserved for the hours of darkness. You see the oxpeckers scooting about there, and that one individual is trying to get into that hippo's ear, but it's obviously quite irritating. It must be quite ticklish, but there's most likely some parasites in there in the way of ticks. Okay, nice little check-in here at Juma in the Sabi Sands with these hippos, but as we normally see, I'm pretty sure there's not going to be too much activity, but if there is any, we'll definitely come back. For now, I think let's head on over to East Africa and Africam Old Donyo. Where we've got a hive of activity. We've got yellow baboons here in the foreground, zebra all coming in for a drink, and the Maasai giraffe as well. And we often see that the zebra actually dominate this waterhole when they come in their numbers, even pushing off the likes of elephant. And it seems just an animal that ran off to the right there was an East African oryx. Now it's nice also to notice the different dynamics at the different waterholes as well. Not only the different landscape and terrain, etc., but the size of this waterhole. It obviously has a lot of animals that visit it, but they've got only a small amount of space to work with and water to get into. If you oppose that with the likes of Okukuyu, there's a lot more space for the animals to everybody get in there and have a drink. So here there's a little bit of time sharing, and the animals do need to wait their turn sometimes. The zebras seem to force their way in. When the elephants come, it's obvious that they sort of command respect, except when the zebra come in their numbers, then they even force them out as well. Most notably, the giraffe seem to be the most patient and wait until it's nice and calm for them to drink. Even yesterday, that gymnogene had them a little bit spooked and worried. They didn't want to drink while that bird of prey was there, even though it's probably the size of not even their ankle. We've seen this yellow baboon before, that one with the half-cut tail. He must be one of the dominant males here, I think. And that male on the left that you've seen just come down and start drinking now, you can see the correct length of the tail. So I wonder what happened to that individual's end of his tail. If it maybe got grabbed by a croc, he would have had a lucky escape. And here's a East African oryx looking to try and get in to the water area. So Picasso, thanks for your comment. Absolutely, this, especially this waterhole, because it's very close to the waterhole itself and the angle that it's at, it just gives us a wonderful, wonderful perspective and nice close-ups, but also very clear sounds from the animals that are going down to drink and splashing about, etc. I love it when the elephants come and they, you know, that spraying sound from their trunks. It's just fabulous. Joanne, yes, I think you're bestowing some luck upon us. Hopefully, we're going to get some cats today on the Waterhole show. Who knows? But it's just lovely sitting watching these animals so close especially the baboons. I must agree. And some impala also now entering the fray. They generally do also wait their turn a little bit, not so much like the giraffe, but they don't seem to be high up on the pecking order around the water. These baboons always so comical and so interesting to watch. There's a couple of impressive males that are moving through, and of course this little youngster in the front here, either youngster or female, it's just having a good old scratch.
Do you love relaxing at a waterhole with the sights and sounds of Africa all around you? Well, we have some really exciting news for you. From August 1st, Africam is joining forces with WildEarth to bring the majesty of Africa right into your living room with 9 incredible new waterhole cameras from across South Africa and Kenya. Get ready to embark on a new journey. This is Live at the Waterhole.
Wow, lots of action going on here, but you never know because there's so much activity. The animals can also get spooked by each other. The other animals get spooked by a particular animal, and then that animal that spooked them also gets spooked because they spooked. So it can be a little bit of a domino effect. Oh, some big male baboons coming in there. They are beasts. Look at that hair. They definitely look like no nonsense type fellows. Righty, so lovely start not only at Kamfersdam with the flamingos, that giraffe that came down at Okukuyu, and now specifically these yellow baboons at Old Donyo in Kenya. But we're not going to sit just at one spot. I think we're going to move off now. Let's head to the Madikwe Game Reserve in the northwest province of South Africa and Jamala. Which is quite busy this morning as well. Already got elephants down. Nice group of blue wildebeest off to the right there. And looks like even more elephants coming down, at least one. This should be good. Now, it's wonderful that we got elephants here because I've just been told, I didn't know, that today is indeed World Elephant Day. So, what a way to celebrate it by having these elephants down at Jamala. Hopefully, we'll have lots of the other locations having elephants come down too on their special day. And just a background on World Elephant Day, it was created in 2012 by two Canadian filmmakers called Patricia Sims and Michael Clark in an effort to raise awareness about the issues facing African and Asian elephants. And every year on August 12th, we'll be joining in this global effort to show our support and bring awareness to protecting elephants around the world. I would have to say, in my mind, the biggest challenges faced by elephants is obviously elephant human conflict. As well, and that's brought about by human encroachment onto areas where elephants do survive. And with them being such big, potentially dangerous animals, they do come into quite serious conflict with humans. So it is imperative that they're protected in specific zones, but that then does also stop their historical migratory routes, and it creates social issues as well. So I think for the most part, it's just important to create awareness about elephant conservation, and obviously, where we can, we try to assist. So, Lorraine, I must agree with you. Lovely sighting of these elephants here at Jamala for World Elephant Day. This youngster looks like it's taking a drink from mom. Not sure if it is actually doing that. Mom looks like she wants to have a bit of soil for breakfast. Get in those supplements nice and early. We've actually noticed that the elephants are doing this more and more every day. And that's eating the soil here, getting some mineral salts from the particular dust here next to the waterhole. And I think it's probably as a result of the bush slowly drying out and the food quality probably slowly dipping as well. So they're trying to supplement their diet here by eating of the soil and getting in those mineral salts.
We love all the support. We read all the comments, and now we want to acknowledge our biggest fans. Do you know when Ribbon was seen last? Or the names of June's cubs? Do you remember the last time we were up close and personal with an elephant? If you answered yes to any of these questions, then you are in for a treat. WildEarth's Fan of the Month. We are looking for you. For more details, make sure to read our monthly mailer and keep an eye out on our social media pages. WildEarth, it's in your nature.
So, and a couple of days ago, we had a massive group of elephants move through here. I think it was multiple herds, but I think there was probably over 100 of them within the space of about an hour. And remember that here there's over 1,500 individual elephants on Madikwe, about 75,000 hectares. The feeling is that they're probably tipping over the kind of carrying capacity. So it's lovely to see so many elephants, but it is a bit of a worry that they may be overpopulated. So just while we're watching these elephants milling about and this youngster really trying to get as much milk out of mom as possible, we're excited at Wild Earth that we have launched this exact program live at the Waterhole with cameras from Africam. We will now be streaming live at the Waterhole live, not just on the app and website, but also on YouTube. And as you would have noticed, it's straight after the sunrise safari at 9:30 a.m. and it runs until 12:30 in the afternoon. So be sure not to miss out. But if you do, you can watch the catch up on YouTube. And there's a lone zebra in amongst those blue wildebeest. So it looks like now that little herd has decided they've had enough milling about, they've drunk their fill, they've had a bit of soil, and now it's time to head off and probably go and feed. And what would Africa be without elephants? It's, I think, really important for us to try our best in whatever way we can, if that's just supporting conservation groups and societies that look after elephants. There's very good people that have a lot of systems in place to try and protect them. I think they need all the support they can get. And one big way is obviously just being a tourist and going to these reserves that do protect the elephants themselves. So I think that in a big way does assist economically to help the conservation at large. Now, I think these wildebeest are also doing similar. It looks like they are chewing off a bit of grass, but I think they might be also licking the soil and practicing geophagia, getting those supplementary mineral salts.
Welcome to Africam, your window to Africa's wild spaces. Immerse yourself in the captivating sights and sounds of nature. With our high-definition cameras, you'll feel like you're right there in the heart of the action, where every moment is a surprise waiting to unfold. Join our global community of wildlife enthusiasts as we witness nature's drama unfold in real time.
So our mission here at Wild Earth is to connect the world with nature. And if you'd like to help us in our quest, you can go onto the Wild Earth website and click donate. Every little bit counts, and however small the contribution might be, it will be greatly appreciated. So what a way for us to celebrate World Elephant Day with a nice herd of elephants down here at Jamala. And I'm hoping that we get more elephants all round at all the different locations. And one of them that they've been quite present at is at Old Donyo. No elephants for now, but I'm telling you, at some stage, we'll have some nice big bulls coming through, I am sure. So a lovely sighting of these eland coming down to drink now, and the real diversity here is staggering. We've had that nice group of yellow baboons, the East African oryx, zebra. Okay, it looks like the screen has frozen here, so I think we'll go and continue on the celebration of elephants, this time at Okukuyu. Where they are showing up for us today. Fantastic. It's a bit of a bigger breeding herd, this one, compared to the one at Jamala. I think there's around 12 or so of them here now. And a nice group of springbok filling in on the right. I think Is that a kudu approaching on the opposite bank?
Check that kudu. Only one on. Sure?
Prudence, thanks for your message and conveying and continuing the theme of World Elephant Day. Fantastic. And there's a good mix of ages here in this herd as well. Nice little youngsters, teenagers, and fully grown adults. And what I've also noticed is that you find the elephants in the more arid regions. And from watching the water holes here too, it sort of cemented the idea for me that elephants in parts where there's less water, they spend more time at the water hole when they do get down to it and drink a lot more than you might find in the likes of the Lowveld or the greater Kruger area. They might drink more regularly but not take in as much and don't spend as much time at the waterhole as well in general. And you notice that here they're really spending a lot of time getting all that water in, and then they do mill about quite a bit before they move off and obviously then go in search of their feeding grounds. But just those periods seem to be more extended in the arid to semi-arid parts, and what I've noticed, Jamala and here at Okukuyu, it's especially pertinent. And that's a nice closer look at them.
Are you yearning for a private virtual WildEarth safari adventure with our naturalists and crew? We have got you covered. Sign up to be an explorer before the 15th of August and you could win a private safari experience. Make lifelong wildlife memories with either Steve
Thank you for joining us and have a fantastic morning.
or Cedric. WildEarth, it's in your nature.
So, James, yeah, elephants can breathe through their mouths as well as through their trunks. So, it's all connected in the same nasal passages, and they'll be able to taste as well. And that's James in the UK. Lovely to have you on board with us, all the way from the United Kingdom. I'm sure you guys are having a similar day to us in your lovely summer. But a hot winter's day for us is very similar to your sunny, hot summer's day. So just think what it's like then in summer, particularly here in Etosha, which can get well over 40 degrees Celsius and be about minus 20% humidity. It's incredibly dry and can be incredibly hot as well. But I find that the heat here in Etosha is more bearable, even at 45 degrees Celsius, than 28 degrees or 30 degrees Celsius in Kenya with about 80% humidity. So, and in the Lowveld as well, in the area of the Greater Kruger, I prefer this dry heat that you find in Namibia. So, and just going a little bit further with that, James, especially you hear the likes of the little babies when they're drinking from their mother and they're sucking through their mouths. So that's obviously lung-based in the way that they suck that, and you can often hear the air sort of escaping just around the side where the suction is not complete on the mother's breast. So. They can also retain water or dust in the trunk without them having to hold their breath. So luckily they can breathe through their mouth, otherwise they would have to hold their breath when they pick up dust or water in the trunk. Couple of oryx there on the opposite bank, the one that we're more used to, the larger population of the species, compared to the East African oryx, which is endangered, and there's not too many of them. Looks like the elephants have now finally drunk their fill, and they're probably going to move off to some shady areas, as well as probably where there's a bit more food. It's quite far from here. It's about a kilometer's walk at least. And so, with the elephants leaving, I think we'll head back to South Africa and the Northwest Province and the Madikwe Game Reserve, but this time not Jamala. Let's head to Africam Tau. So a bit further north and closer to the Botswana border compared to Jamala. But here we've got, I see 3 of our resident 5 crocodiles. This forms pretty much the majority of their activity in winter, is just going out and sunning themselves. We don't see crocodiles hunting too much at this time of the year and during this winter season. It's more so during the summer months. But if you do have quite extended periods of hot winter's days, it can lead them to be a bit more active. And crocodiles are definitely not one of the most exciting animals to watch, because this is pretty much their modus operandi, and also a big part of the way that they hunt. They are stealth hunters, and you could liken it to puff adders that would also just roll themselves up in a ball in a particular spot and wait for something unsuspecting to come nearby. Then they go for the strike. Now these crocodiles just lying here, they can do this for days and weeks and sometimes even months on end. Eventually the animals will, almost forget about them, and something will come strolling past, and just in those few milliseconds there's a burst of activity, and the animal that was walking past disappears off with the crocodile into the water. And there's excellent birding around this little waterhole. Well, it's quite a big one, quite well spread out. These crocodiles are sort of on the shallow part of it, out sunning themselves, but in the major part, you do see the black-winged stilts There's South African shell ducks, there's the three-banded plover and blacksmith lapwings, guinea fowl normally milling about all around the waterhole. We've also seen ground squirrels here. There's quite a few swifts and common house martins flying about too. There's the black-winged stilt, you can see in the middle of the screen there. And the three-banded plover just behind. Here in the foreground, got a few red-knobbed coots. So 2 red-knobbed coots and then a few white-faced whistling ducks. You always find the white-faced whistling ducks moving in reasonably large groups as well. You never generally see them alone. So something quite interesting about the white-faced whistling ducks is that unlike most waterfowl, they often perch in trees and on branches. And because of this, another common name for them is actually tree ducks. When they're alarmed, they stand up dead straight and freeze. and they're a bit omnivorous. So they feed on grass and seeds and all sorts of aquatic mollusks and invertebrates. So quite similar to most duck species.
Attention all lion enthusiasts. In honor of World Lion Day, WildEarth is hosting a Lion Fest Ask Me Anything. Cedric will be answering all of your questions about lions. Join us in celebrating the mighty kings of the safari on 12 August. Don't miss out. Watch it live. WildEarth, it's in your nature.
So nice, quite a bit of activity here. Nice to do a little bit of birding, especially with these red-knobbed coots and the white-faced whistling ducks, together with the black-winged stilt and the little three-banded plover. But to continue on the World Elephant Day and celebration thereof, let's head back to Jamala. And we've got lots more elephants that have come down here. I'm hoping we get those streams of them coming through like we did the other day. Now, this is a good start. And it was lovely when we had those big or that large amount of elephants that did come through. Once the waterhole was kind of packed with them, then there seemed to be a lot more time for playing around. And the youngsters then did get stuck in and started wallowing, rolling around in the mud, spraying the water everywhere. It was just so much fun. So I'm hoping that we get to see something similar again today. Alrighty, so a little bit of frozen screen there once again. So we're just checking in once more at Dam, Africam, just outside of Kimberley. And it seems like today the flamingos have all taken the day off. Not much activity at all. Being a bit lazy, I think. But that's fine, it's up to them. They're not going to dance on parade. It's all about their energy requirements, and if they don't feel like feeding, well, that's their decision to make. You do generally find more activity from the greater flamingos, which is exactly what you're seeing here, and more of the lesser just resting up a bit. So, and once again, if you look at those flamingos walking in the background there, you might think that their knees are bending backwards. However, that's not their knee, that's their ankle, with the knee being a lot higher up and closer to the body. So, it's just a little bit of an illusion where their feet are longer than you imagine. And it goes through with a lot of animals where we think their knees more so is actually the ankle appendage. Because standing on your toes is pretty general across the animal kingdom, except for us walking flat footed. Nice bit of birding here. There's a little teal moving through in the background there, I believe, but otherwise everyone's asleep. So let's give them some privacy and some quiet time. We'll leave them to sleep for a while. So let's head back to Africam Tower. Small group of warthogs, a little family group has moved in. 3 youngsters there with 1 adult. That's a male. I wonder if his partner has been eaten or if she's around here somewhere as well. High prevalence of lions, leopards, wild dogs, and as well as cheetah here in the Madikwe Game Reserve. So they do keep the warthog numbers in check. And that's not only little piglets, they'll also take adults. So I hope she hasn't fallen foul, but if she has, well, she's left a very responsible dad behind to look after the youngsters. So you'll see them feeding on the grass. They're pretty much bulk grazers, but they'll also put the snout into the soil and push the dirt away. And in so doing, they do access roots as well, which are full of carbohydrates, starch, sugars. And so, quite especially in winter, when grasses are very often dormant, a lot of the proteins and the carbohydrates and the sugars remain in the roots. So you'll find the warthogs mostly in winter digging out the roots while they graze and getting down to the more juicier stuff underground. Now, while I was speaking about the legs and feet of the flamingos and birds in general, look at these warthogs. You can actually see how the foot is raised. So we say that humans, we have a plantigrade foot structure, how we put our feet on the ground, where the whole foot rests on the ground. And the antelope and all the ungulates, we say anguligrade. They stand on the tips of their toes. And that's exactly what the warthogs do as well. So their whole foot is raised up off the ground with only the tips of their toes pressing down into the dirt. So if you look at the one that's standing there just off to the left, you can see the whole foot raised up off the ground. Then that's the ankle, and the knee being right up under the belly. That's where the knee is, in fact. The likes of cats and dogs and hyenas, etc., we say they are digitigrade. They walk on the fingers as opposed to right on the tips of their toes. So with them, that first joint then becomes the ankle, closer to the ground, but still pretty much raised. And there on that warthog on the right, you can see the foot now is almost straight up.
Are you a cat enthusiast? Here at WildEarth, we share this feline fervor. However, our cats are a little more fearsome. Bring your favorite feline friend along and join us as the WildEarth prides come roaring to your screen in an epic 3-day lion special in celebration of World Lion Day.
Just looking at the condition of these warthogs, you can see their hip bones a little bit. So I'd say they're probably about a 2 out of 5. And that's a reflection of the quality of the felt. And so exactly what I was saying, you'll then find the warthogs, because they do have a high intake requirement, they start to look for alternative food. And normally that's hidden underground. And so that's why they're doing a lot of digging. So warthogs, very similar to zebra, need to spend large portions of their day feeding, being hindgut fermenters, and so similar to zebra are they, in fact, that even their dung looks the same. It's just slightly different shaped, where the warthogs have got a round dung ball. The zebras, similar to horses and donkeys, got just more of a kidney shaped. But if that kidney breaks in half, it very often looks exactly the same as warthogs. So it's one of those similar signs that you see out in the bush that you may easily confuse. So you see the warthogs also lying on their hocks in the front. It just makes it more convenient for them to be able to graze like that. Um, it's not really a special adaptation or anything wrong with them. It's normal. You see them often standing fully upright and grazing, but when they start feeding in a spot like this, you very often find them just going onto the hocks, and I think it just makes it a little bit easier. So Picasso, yeah, definitely two shades of grey, and they reasonably healthy looking warthogs. They're in fine sort of form, but I think they are lacking a little bit of condition, and that's probably most likely down to the state of the reserve currently. This is a seasonal thing, and you often find that in winter the animals do lose condition quite a bit. But when the rains return, obviously, so does the condition of the animals as the food quality increases again. So it's nothing unusual or sort of something to be overly concerned about. It's this time where the animals then do just start being a little bit more ingenious and looking harder for protein and carbohydrate rich food. We see with the elephants, they often go pushing trees over, particularly the likes of Comifera, where the roots store a lot of carbohydrates, sugars, and starch in there. So pushing those over, getting to the roots at this time of year, as well as starting to strip bark off the trees as well, because the leaf availability is quite low. There's not many flowers about either. So, but there's a lot of storage of nutrients by the trees in that inner cambium layer, which is just below the bark and on that inner bark region. So that's why the trees can take a bit of a hammering at this time of the year, especially if it's quite dry and there's not too much food available for them. But they do know there are alternatives, and they do go looking for them. and sometimes then natural selection comes through almost on a yearly and seasonal basis, because as we go into winter, into the dry season, the animals will fall foul and to parasites. They do pick up a lot of diseases as their condition reduces, and then it also makes the strongest ones that go looking for these alternative food sources, etc., get through those times where maybe the weaker ones would die off, and then that the strong lines and genetics pass through into the next generations. There's a tiny little bird and another one now that's just come in, going down, looking to go and drink. It's the size of a canary. I wonder if it's something like a firefinch or a waxbill. There it goes. Difficult to see. It's tiny, but if I had to hazard a guess, just looking at that one now going up onto the grass towards the warthog, I would I would go with firefinch. There's normally a few of them around, and it seems like there's more and more arriving now. What do you think? It's a bit difficult to say for sure.
Are you WildEarth's biggest fan? Well, we have a brand new competition for you. Join our naturalists on Safari Live and listen out for weekly questions. To enter the competition, head over to our Instagram, search #WildEarthFanOfTheMonth and comment your answer under the post. The monthly winner will be determined by the total quickest and most correct answers. We announce our winner at the end of every month. Tune in to Safari Live daily.
So there's a lot of activity going on in this frame. The warthogs are sort of foraging, grazing, and digging. And I think what definitely seem to be like firefinches just off to the right. Definitely not confirmed, but my feeling is that they are indeed firefinches or waxbills. But like I say, if I have to guess, I'll say Jamison's firefinch. They're definitely acting like it. I just can't see the detail clear enough on them to make a final choice or decision or identification. And obviously, in this instance, it's forming a symbiotic relationship, because a symbiotic relationship is any relationship between two organisms. And currently, there is a relationship between these birds and the warthogs. It seems like that the warthogs are not benefiting in any way whatsoever, but the birds are. And they're benefiting because the warthogs have been turning that dirt over, and I think maybe exposing some seeds and, just some little roots that maybe the birds are feeding on as well. But I would also hazard a guess at saying that they are supplying a return uh, part in the relationship, in that if there was any predator or anything that had to come past now, they'd all fly up and give an alarm call, and so alert the warthogs to an arriving danger or an imminent danger or something nearby. So definitely, I think in this part, both parties are benefiting. So when we talk of different symbiotic relationships, if we had to say commensalistic, which is what we would initially think, where the warthogs aren't gaining any benefit from the birds, but the birds are, that's a commensalistic symbiotic relationship. But I think it's probably more so a mutualistic symbiotic relationship, because both benefiting, although we don't see it immediately for the warthogs. I think there's definitely an added security point of view with the birds being around. So I would definitely say it's a mutualistic symbiotic relationship. The other relationship would be a parasitic symbiotic relationship, and we see that very clearly with the likes of oxpeckers, where generally it's a mutualistic relationship where whatever animal they're picking the ticks on off of is gaining from having the parasites removed, and the bird is gaining by getting its food. But very often we also find that the oxpeckers will keep wounds open on different animals, whether it's hippos or buffalo, or sometimes even bigger animals like giraffe, and they'll keep that wound open and drink the blood constantly from that. And then that exact same relationship between those two organisms changes from a mutualistic symbiotic relationship into a parasitic symbiotic relationship. So, out in the wild, in the bush, these systems are always in flux, and sometimes your best ally could land up being your enemy, or at least become a parasite in some way or other. And just as I finished chatting about the different symbiotic relationships that we get, the second party in the relationship here has disappeared. So no more firefinches, what I believe they were, but the warthogs remain. So it is pretty quiet across all the locations, and I think it's almost like the animals are leaving the spotlight for the elephants. Uh, let's hope some more come down. So we just have a quick scan across and see what else is about. And well, a lovely big group of wildebeest. They seem to do this daily as well. Come down for a drink and then mill about here, do a bit of dust bathing and rest up, ruminating before they all move off again. So, with this in mind, and now we've just seen the two different types of digestive systems in the two species of animals that we're looking at, from the warthogs to the blue wildebeest. And the warthog, being a hind gut fermenter, they have a much higher food intake requirement than the likes of a blue wildebeest, and particularly per body mass. Um, but the wildebeest don't need to take as much in because their digestive system is a whole lot more efficient, although it's still relatively inefficient. But in comparison to the likes of the hindgut fermenters, it's much better. So just in terms of which animals have the biggest impact on the felt, it's the bulk grazers, which are all down to those hindgut fermenters. And so the blue wildebeest don't have as much of an impact as the like of zebra.
Do you sometimes imagine what WildEarth would be like without adverts? A chance to properly immerse yourself in nature without any interruptions. Sign up to be an explorer for a small monthly fee and you can truly escape into the wilderness. Ad-free viewing is now available on our app as well as on our website. WildEarth, it's in your nature.
See, when you look at the condition of a lot of the animals as well, you always get quite surprised with the better condition that you find on the waterbuck. They're able to access these areas in and around the water and feed on the greenery that still survives even when there's drought periods. As long as there's a water body like this and vegetation growing in it, the waterbuck can feed on and utilize that. So they keep their condition a bit better than the other animals that are quite specific in what they feed on and the grasses that they need to eat. A nice little young bull coming through now. You see how his horns are dead straight, still very short, and they haven't quite got the curl to them just yet. Being in a bachelor group, you often see that kind of activity of them just chasing each other around a bit. Um, and obviously, that youngest one will be the lowest in this pecking order, with this big bull on the right probably being chief amongst this lot. So, for any new viewers who have just joined us, hello and welcome to Live at the Waterhole, where currently we're coming to you live from the Africam Tau Lodge, which is in the Madikwe Game Reserve of the Northwest Province of South Africa. We've got a range of different locations, right from Etosha in Namibia to Kenya and down into the Northwest Province of South Africa, as well as into the Lowveld as well in the Greater Kruger Park. And as always, don't forget that this is a live and interactive experience, so we'd love for you to jump on board with us and send us through your questions and your comments, and you can do that by going on the WildEarth website and registering. We'd love to hear from you. And of course, today being World Elephant Day, we're celebrating that, and we've had quite a bit of elephant activity from Etosha at the Okokoyo Waterhole to Jamala in the Madikwe Game Reserve, a little bit further south from where we are here at Tau Lodge. Righty, so nice time spent here at Africam Tau, but I think it's time for us to head back to one of our more busy waterholes that's up in East Africa and Oldonyo. Where a couple of Maasai giraffe have finally made their way in for a drink. And there's one solitary eland with them, but they're all full of oxpeckers as well. Quite a few more giraffe coming through now. It might fill up quite nicely in the next few minutes.
Welcome to Africam, your window to Africa's wild spaces. Immerse yourself in the captivating sights and sounds of nature. With our high-definition cameras, you'll feel like you're right there in the heart of the action, where every moment is a surprise waiting to unfold. Join our global community of wildlife enthusiasts as we witness nature's drama unfold in real time.
So, Spaz, it's great to have you on board once again, and I'm glad that you're watching these giraffe and the eland. It's always nice with the giraffe because as soon as there's a few more of them, they're less reluctant to drink. And as soon as there's a few of them next to the waterhole, you see the ones from a distance coming in all the way up to the waterhole itself. So they do definitely get courage when there's more of them present. Um, the zebra don't seem to mind either way. They just barge their way in. The eland, they're also a little bit tentative, not quite as bashful as the zebra, and not quite as anxious as the giraffe either. This is a fantastic scene here now. All we need is one-ton elephant to make a visit. See, another giraffe that's plucked up the courage because there's a number of them already here. He's made his way all the way in. Maybe he'll also get a drink as well. Right, so what a wonderful scene this has been at Africam Old Donyo in Kenya. But once again, with the elephants in mind, I think let's head back to Madikwe and Jamala. Where we've got some down at the Waterhole and more arriving on the opposite bank. So hopefully that continues and we can have the last little bit of the show here. Oh, that young elephant didn't like the impala there, gave it a little bit of a charge. You can see these elephants have had to walk a long way to get to this waterhole, and they're obviously very thirsty. You can just see it in the way that they're walking. They're coming with purpose, and they're coming to quench their thirsts. Another youngster drinking from its mom, always lovely to see. Oh, something spooked those zebra on the opposite bank. Most likely a false alarm, but you never know. We'll keep our eyes peeled. Could it be because of those warthogs that are making their way in on the left? Maybe they thought that was something a little bit more aggressive or predator-wise. Oh, surprise, surprise, another elephant arriving. Maybe there's more on the way. See that female backing up towards this one arriving, almost blocking it from going towards the waterhole. I wonder what this is all about. Very interesting behavior. Lovely group arriving now.
Those sounds just go straight through you.
So a nice bit of congestion here at the Jamala Waterhole. Lots of Ellies now starting to have a drink, and there was all sorts of interactions between them as well. The one here in the foreground with its youngster, I think, getting itself its supplements for the day. Definitely tasting that soil there. Haven't seen it eat it just yet, but I'm sure that's exactly what it's going to do. Surprise, surprise, there's some more coming in just in time. Terry Ann, absolutely. What better way to spend World Elephant Day and end the show with them? It's just fabulous. And they've really put on a show for us now. So, slowly heading towards the end of the show, as per usual. Just a reminder that later on this afternoon from 2:30 p.m. there will be the Sunset Safari, and then tomorrow morning from 6:30 a.m. it will be the Sunrise Safari. And of course, I'll be here once again at 9:30 for Live at the Waterhole. So, please join us again once more tomorrow, and we'll see what comes down for a drink. Today, I think it's just been dedicated to the elephants, and well, they've showed up. So it's been fabulous. So, as always, thanks to the wildlife for putting on the show, especially the elephants today. Without them, it wouldn't be possible. And of course, to you, the viewers, for jumping on board with us. It's been wonderful. And thanks to the whole WildEarth team, especially the guys behind the scenes, for making it all possible as well. I hope you've enjoyed the show today, folks. And please join me again tomorrow. We never know what might come down. So So from me, Ralph Kirsten, enjoy the rest of your day.